Oh, we're live. Morning. Oh, sorry we're a bit late. Technical issues this morning. Weird issues with the plane's navigation. I couldn't go where I wanted to go, so I had to change the route last minute in an effort to get live quickly. So the plan was to go Barcelona to Newcastle, but for whatever reason the plane wouldn't accept the nav data from SimBrief. Kept erroring and all sorts. So I made an on-the-spot decision to change the route, and we're going to head from Nice in the south of France and get ourselves back up to Newcastle in the north of England. Should be around about a 2-hour flight. There's really not a lot of difference in terms of time between Barcelona and Nice. They're very, very, very similar. So we're all pushed back, and so I'll show you where we are. Sort of right next to the main terminal. And we're going to take off on runway 4 right, so that is the one next to the sea, basically. So, just checking our flight plan before we head off, see what restrictions we got. We need to be above 7,000 feet, and then we're straight up to our cruise altitude. So we'll do 7,000 in the window to start. We've got a speed limit of 210, although I suspect that's going to reset itself by the time we taxi. But that's okay. Altimeter set, auto brake max. I've got my lights set. For taxi. Did I do the fuel? Please tell me I did the fuel. Yes, I did do the fuel. Well done. Nice. Well, let us have a gentle little taxi down to the runway, shall we? I guess this must be one of the custom airports, because that terminal looks a bit snazzy, doesn't it? And this isn't any sort of like scenery that I've paid for. Far too stingy for that. Far too stingy. Right. Oh, tanker, come on. Get out of the way. If I edge closer to you, will you finally get the hint and leave? Come on. Alright, I'm going through you. Sorry, tanker. If you're going to be a complete bot and just sit there. This kind of thing will happen. So we've got 2 runways. And we're going to use 04 right, which is the farthest runway. So we're going to sort of go around the back and then take off. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see on the screen there, it's a little bit dim. I'll brighten it up and show you in more detail in a moment. We're going to take off and do a little bit of a loop, which isn't uncommon for Nice. I actually flew out of there once myself, and I think we took off, we must have done like 3 loops around the airport. Very strange. I think it's this way. Famous last words. A little bit of stutter there. If we head this way, get around the back side of the runway 4 left and join up with 4 right. He says. Here we go. Nothing coming, that's always good. So we do have live weather on today, and I'm not entirely sure that was a great idea. I feel like the live weather and I have a difference of opinion at the moment. I don't know whether it's me not thinking that certain things are going to happen due to lack of experience, or whether it's actually bugged, but it feels bugged. But I'm not hearing loads of other people complain about it, so it sort of makes me wonder, like, is it me? It could be me. Like, to give you an example, on Monday when we flew from Alicante to Bristol, the reason we did that flight was because of some winds at Bristol, but it went very, very strange on us. Very, very strange. By the time we got to Bristol, we had like a 30-knot crosswind, and like when I say crosswind, I mean literally hitting the left side of the plane at a complete 90-degree angle to where the plane was going. And then within about 500 feet, the wind just did a complete twist on us, and then it turned into a tailwind. Now, I don't know if that actually happens in real life, if that's normal. It didn't feel normal. Oh, that is a nice view. Look at that. Alright. Let's check our lights are on. Auto brake max, flaps set to 1, speed brakes armed. To arc. I think we're ready to go to Newcastle. Right, let's take off. Keep us on the centre line there quite a lot with the rudder pedals. Oh, yeah, that's a bit of wind there, alright. That's a bit of wind. So we're just going to do a little bit of a loop, almost a complete 180 around the airport. And then we'll begin our climb as we head north over France. There it is. So that runway there nearest to the sea, the one closest to us, is where we took off from. I really did like Nice. Nice was a cool place to go. Very cool for plane spotting as well, if that's your if that's your thing. I'm not sure my wife quite shared my enthusiasm, but it was very cool. I remember sort of standing on this kind of bit here, and the planes would kind of follow the track of the beach and the promenade, so they'd sort of come in, almost turning right until the last minute. It was spectacular. Hey Bevy, how you doing? Never sure how to pronounce your name on here. Bevy, Beve, Bev. Alright, there's 7,000 feet coming up. Yeah, not doing bad at all, thank you very much. Few technical hiccups this morning, unfortunately, but on the whole, I would say we do quite well with those, so I can't really whinge too much. The plan was to take off from Barcelona and head up to Newcastle, but the nav data wouldn't input right. Some of the waypoints just weren't in the plane's database, and I was like, oh, you know what? In the interest of getting going quickly, I'm just going to not do this. You don't know how it's pronounced either. Fair enough. Fair enough. You can't say fairer than that. Right, how are we looking? Oh, I didn't do my extra windows. Need to get these. So I drag this onto my second screen. Then I can sort of see what the plane's doing while we're busy looking out the window. Okay, 10,000 coming up. And the south of France is nice. Very, very, very nice. Okay, let's get our altimeter in standard. Landing lights off. Disarm the speed brakes. Excellent. Now we can get going a bit better. Getting some turbulence. Definitely getting blown around up here. Saw my other channel and it's very strange watching me play an FPS game. Yeah, you know, I am conscious of that. Like, people coming from this channel might be like, oh, this is what I'm used to. I definitely want to do more with that channel as well. It's just finding the time to do it, because I don't want to push that other channel at the expense of this one. And at the expense of all the flight simming, because I really do enjoy it. I think that's kind of the danger with the internet sometimes. You can get pigeonholed. I was talking to a friend about it. He was saying maybe I should make a second Twitter account for me to talk about all my gaming stuff, so that the people that already follow me on this one don't get angry at me. And it's like, why should you have to do that? I think you've got to be a bit careful of that online. It's almost like once the internet decides you're one thing, you can't be anything else, and I think that sucks a little bit, if I'm honest. Like, people aren't that black and white, are they? We're complex beings. No, 2K is crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. And the weird thing is, we were talking about it last night. When I started this channel, I said, like, within a year, I'd like to get 1,000 subs. And I count the start of this channel. I mean, I know I made the channel a little while ago, but I basically sat on it and did nothing with it for, like, several months. The start of this channel, as far as I'm concerned, was it like the 3rd of January? This year. So like after the Christmas holidays had ended here and kids went back to school and everything went back to normal, that was like day one of this channel. And I said the goal is to get 1,000 subs by this time next year. So it's crazy that we've nearly doubled that. But what I didn't anticipate was the watch hours being the issue. So it'd be really cool to get the channel monetized. Very, very. If nothing else, just to pay towards the electricity bill, because prices are going up. Up and up and up and up. And you've actually got to kind of think about that. Because if you think of the PCs chewing through 300 watts an hour, which, let's be fair, it's probably more like 4, but call it 3. Call it 333 watts for the sake of this demonstration. So 3 hours worth of flying is a kilowatt, and a kilowatt hour costs X. So all of a sudden, like a long haul flight to New York actually costs real money. Not a huge amount of money, but if you're doing it 4 times a week, every single week, all of a sudden your power bill could go up by like, you know, £20 a month or £30 a month, whatever it is. Like we pay, at the moment, we pay 19 pence per kilowatt hour, which I know is really cheap relative to what's going on with the energy markets and energy crisis at the moment. It's because luckily we got locked in on a contract years ago that expires in October next year, so we're good until October next year. But after that, blimey, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't know what's going to happen. Wouldn't surprise me if we're sort of, instead of 19p, maybe 60, 70, 80, wouldn't shock me. Which then makes it a very different conversation about long haul flights, because if you're doing, it's almost £1 for every 3 hours in the air. Then a long haul flight, a 9-hour flight, that's like £3 just in electricity. And if you're doing that 4 times a week, £12 a week, £48, that's nearly £50 a month just to play flight sim. So, yeah, getting the channel monetized would be awesome. G'day, my Flight Sim channel. Flight Sim's new channel. It's been fun starting from scratch again. Oh, cool, yeah. Yeah, starting from scratch is cool. It's almost like a license to reconsider everything, make some new decisions, not get kind of held back by your own legacy, isn't it? Yeah, the chat is quiet. I think I messed up a little bit when I started the stream. I didn't actually set the game. So when you set up a stream on YouTube, you can do your title, your description, tags, all that stuff. Upload the thumbnail. And then you can actually type in the name of the game. And it will kind of like autofill, because it knows what the actual game is based on what you typed. And then your stream is then tagged as that game. And I foolishly didn't do that. So the first few minutes of the stream, it was just like, it wasn't a gaming stream as far as YouTube was concerned, and I did it afterwards. It is very bumpy around these mountains, isn't it? Curious to see what live weather does to us today as well. I still maintain that it was bugged on Monday. I don't know how that would happen in the real world. Maybe it does, I don't know, but didn't feel right, that one, at all. I mean, to be coming in on final approach with the runway, you could see the runway just because of the clouds, but you could see it. So we were really, really close. And we had a 90-degree crosswind, basically. So the wind was hitting the left of the plane directly at about 30 or 40 knots. And then within literally 30 seconds, it dies down to 10 knots and it's a tailwind. So that just felt odd to me. Oh, ATC's been a bit iffy as well. I suppose I don't really use the ATC very much. I just kind of do my own thing. I use SimBrief to do the flight plan. And I work out my own descents and things based on that. So I find I've got no real need for the actual ATC. Hey Paola, how's it going? Welcome back. So I'm not sure what we'll get on the way into Newcastle today. We are using live weather, for better or worse, so we'll see what happens, but I think we had it, didn't we, in Australia? Was it we were going from Brisbane down to Sydney and we had like a 110 knot crosswind or something as we were cruising? And then we double checked it, and it's like, no, that is just so wrong. There's no way that could be right. Sim feels a little bit on the laggy side today. Lots of pop-in, lots of stutters. Damn, my gear's still up. Whoops. I definitely pressed the button. Oh well. If there was ever any doubt that I'm a terrible pilot, there it is. Oh wait, I know what I did. I pressed it. I pressed the button again by accident while we were looking out the window. Silly boy. Not paying attention, was I? Just looking at these views. Still, they're kind of good though. So I'm thinking of doing a putting out a long haul on the channel tomorrow. I say long haul, medium to long haul. The flight has been done. I did the flight yesterday. Well, I set the flight going yesterday while I was out, and I need to finish up the landings and get it all a bit tighter, edit it all up so it doesn't look like complete trash, and then we'll stream that one out tomorrow. Got Detroit to Las Vegas. Should be cool. You tried flying the Kodiak 100. I think you'll love it if you do. No, I haven't. I should. I'm very, very bad at trying new planes. Mostly because I do most of what I do on Flight Sim live on stream, so I I want to be in a plane that I'm at least semi-competent in if I'm going to be streaming it, which is why I always shy away from doing the Boeing. I thought this morning, I should do a 737 stream. And I thought, no, I'll just do an A320. There's like that part of me that's like, no, because you might mess it up. Flying the plane that you know how to fly. But then if you do that, you never learn, so... Maybe next week, maybe Monday we'll do a 737 stream. We should get into that A310 as well, although I've got to be honest, that aircraft doesn't interest me a huge deal. I'm not sure why they chose to do that, why they chose that plane. If they could have done any Airbus plane, why choose that one? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Surely the A330, A340, A350 would have been more of a crowd pleaser versus an obscure old aircraft that's hardly in service anymore. Strikes me as an odd decision now. We should try the helicopters as well, I suppose, because that's just come out, hasn't it? Maybe we should use some of the like private jets. That could be cool. I think they chose it because it's an older plane. Yeah, I wonder why though. Like why? I don't know. It's just a strange plane, isn't it? Because it's a wide body, but it's really short. Still uses the yoke system. That's how old it is. I don't know. I feel like if I was approached by Microsoft and said, "Could you make us a study level airliner for flight sim?" An Airbus. Probably I would be looking at doing like an A350. Not to undermine their work, like I think they've done incredible work, it's just it's a funny choice to choose that plane, from my perspective anyway. Maybe it's so that when they do come out of an A350, we all rush to buy it, because we've seen what they've done with the A310. Yeah, that's right. So they made it and Microsoft paid the bill, essentially. So I guess if you're going to make a plane where Microsoft are paying the bill, make a plane that showcases your ability as a study-level plane developer, such that when you do come out of a plane that's got broader appeal, like an A350, like an A330, people flock to buy it. Maybe that was the play. I don't know. It's still very bumpy, isn't it? Alright, we're coming up on 30,000 feet. We're cruising at 36,000 today. done a poll. I'm interested to see what others find live weather to be like. I suppose they can make a paper plane glider now, couldn't they? Now that they've got the gliders in the engine. I saw a glider at the weekend land, actually. It was really weird. So I was by an airport and I looked on the flight radar app and there was nothing around. I was like, oh, that sucks. Kind of wanted to see something land, maybe. And then all of a sudden this glider that wasn't on flight radar came right over my head, but it was so quiet because obviously there's no engine. Really strange. Gliders are too light to pop on radars like the one Flight Rudder 24 uses. It also happens with carb aircraft. I didn't know that. That's cool. I don't actually know where they get their data from. They must like license it from somewhere, right? Like almost like you see like mapping companies will license mapping data from various mapping data providers. So there we have it, a 110 mile an hour headwind / crosswind is what we've got at the moment. Once again, I think live weather is up to its old tricks. To do about a 10-degree crab to maintain our course. Alright, that's it. That's our cruise altitude. Then we're 688 miles away from Newcastle. So all 4 people that voted say that live weather in the flight sim is buggy. Is there any way to tell what the wind is doing right now above France at 36,000 feet? Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it. I'm just looking on my laptop and trying to find a source for where you might see what the wind is doing above France at 36,000 feet, but easier said than done. Have I ever considered a Discord server? I haven't given it a lot of thought, to be honest. Kind of too busy doing the actual flying all the time to worry about Discord. Yeah, honestly, I haven't thought. I shall muse on it. Yeah, so I can't tell whether this this weather that we're experiencing would be normal or not. I guess I just sort of have to trust it and assume maybe it is, but yeah, I don't know. We should probably have a look and just get a vague idea of when we need to start thinking about descending. So I know we're quite away yet. We're 637 miles, but doesn't mean to say that's not going to creep up on us. So let's whiz through the flight plan. Flight level 160. What's the deal on that? Be at flight level 160 there. Then at 12, not above, not below, at 12. Let me guess, this one's at 9. Yeah. And then above 2. Fine. Well, let's Urcore 16,000. Type in Urcore. See how many miles away it is. 551 miles to Urcore. So if we have a look at this, 6,000, and we're going to go down to 16,000, aren't we? So it's 20,000 feet. .1,200 feet per minute. It's 108 miles. Which means at 435-ish miles from top of descent. I don't think I'll ever get over the fact that there's a paper plane for flight sim. No, neither do I. Does it actually have like a throttle, like you can set the engines on it and stuff, or is it a glider? Invisible, of course, yeah. I guess the landing gear is also invisible. You just see all those clouds load in. Almost like the data just came through from the live weather. Like, quickly, update the clouds. So the wind is dying down. What was 100 plus knots is now 76, mid-70s. Not entirely sure what this means for our fuel on board. We should probably check in on that. Wow, yeah, so we started with 8335 kilos and we're already down to 57. But that did include the climb, of course, so that's going to take more energy to get the plane up to that altitude. And now we're at a higher altitude where the air is thinner. There's less resistance on the plane, less air resistance, so we'll use less fuel now we're cruising. Hey, look at that, we're up to 5 likes. Not a bad start. That'd be nothing for some YouTubers, but to me that's actually quite a lot, so thank you. Alright, you know what time it is, don't you? It's coffee time. That's what time it is. I shall be back in a few minutes. Bevy, you're in charge of the plane, so do your best. I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, I'm back. Everyone okay? We're not actually far, are we, from the Normandy coast? What are we, sort of roughly level with Brittany, I suppose, aren't we? South of Brittany. Hey, look who's here. How's it going? I was thinking, I'm never sure how to pronounce your name. Jalis? Jalis? One of the hardest things about this YouTube thing is pronouncing people's names, I find. Turns out I'm really not good at it. I apologise. Jalis. Is that right? Jalis? Got it. Got it, got it, got it. I started getting all nostalgic yesterday when I was doing the long haul that I'm going to stream out tomorrow. It was Detroit to Las Vegas. And I've forgotten how cool the approach into Vegas is if you're coming from the east. Never done it on the sim before. Done it in real life once. I remember looking out the window being like, whoa, that is so cool. Like, as you approach Vegas, like, you got lots of sort of, not the Grand Canyon, but lots of kind of canyons and lakes, and very, very cool scenery. The sim did such a good job at recreating it. I was like, whoa, that is actually takes me back. Yeah, we'll probably stream that one out tomorrow at about midday-ish UK time. About 4-ish hours long, so. So it'll be pre-recorded, so I won't be sort of talking over it. I'm curious as to whether I can leave the chat on or not. I mean, even if I do leave the chat on, I won't be there monitoring it the whole time anyway, so it's not like I'll be able to chat back constantly. But maybe if it allows you all to chat together, then it could be a nice thing to leave on. That's all I'm thinking. But I'm just always hesitant to leave it on if I'm not there to moderate. You know, like if you get the bots that turn up or anything. So I've been looking at things like Nightbot. I don't know if you've seen it occasionally on maybe other streamers' streams. Nightbot will sort of automatically moderate certain stuff. So I don't know how effective it'll be. Something we can try though. I can sort of dip in and out of the chat as and when I can. Maybe that's a nice halfway house. I don't know, what do you think? Nightbot moderation is extreme. Well, that's kind of good from my point of view, if I'm being honest. It's something I'd almost want to set and forget. Yeah, well, the emojis, I don't know if you've noticed, a lot of the kind of bots that show up do spam a lot of emojis. That's like their thing, isn't it? Do I plan on doing any long haul flights non-pre-recorded? I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I just don't have the time at the moment. That's my issue. Yeah, I'm very time poor at the moment, which is why I have to stream in these very strict, limited windows of time. So I'm trying to kind of split the difference, really. I'm trying to do a couple of live streams like this a week, Monday, Wednesday. And then potentially do Thursday, Friday as pre-recorded. Or Thursday or Friday, not sure which one. I don't know. Yeah, it's tricky. If only I could go full time. Sit here flying with you guys all day. That'd be the dream. Maybe I could get 2 computers. So if we're on like a massive 12-hour long haul, I can switch over and play Call of Duty on the other channel. We can have 2 channels going at once. One of these days I will, don't you worry. One of these days you'll just see the paper plane. Hey, TK's in. Welcome back, TK. How's it going? Yeah, not so bad, thank you. Very good indeed. What's naughty? The weather map, that is from Sim Toolkit Pro, which is a separate application that you run alongside Flight Sim, and it connects to it. So you have to give Sim Toolkit Pro the sim briefing. That's how it knows where to draw the green line on the map. And then it gives you the map as a URL. So then you put in like a browser source in OBS, point it to that URL, which is a local host thing. It's like a web server on your own machine. Sim Toolkit like Navigraph. Don't know. It's just a separate application. It's quite cool because it does register all of your feet per minute and stuff like that. So you can keep a history and a log of your progress, or lack thereof in my case sometimes. So we're not actually all that far from our top of descent. VNAV, no, I don't think it does. No, unless I'm not aware that they've added it. I think if you run the non-stable version, then it's possibly included in that, but I don't know. In a live environment such as this, I'm very conservative with what I run and don't run, because I just can't afford. I can't afford for the headaches. So do you get up with VS or flight level change? So I can, on the way up, I set my altitude here. Sometimes I'll do it with, you know, setting the values, so like plus 2,000 feet a minute. But today I let it do it managed. So it kind of managed its own climb rate based on, I think, how things were going with the speed, because we had some wind that was sort of changing up on us. So as the plane needed to prioritise the engines, it obviously dropped the climb rate a little bit, but not by much. But yeah, as for the way down, I'm going to do a nice gentle descent, 1,200 feet per minute. So we're at 36,000, we need to get to a waypoint where we must be at 16,000. So at 1,200 feet per minute, we need 117 miles to do that at our current speed. So this is our distance to that waypoint where we need to be at 16,000. So if we take off 118, call it 120, only like 110, 210 miles away from top of descent. So we're keeping an eye on this number. So when this gets to a little bit above 120, we'll set minus 1,200 there, set 16 in the window up here, and it will take us down. I mean, there's I'm only doing it this way because there are waypoints on the way down where it wants us at certain altitudes. If, for example, it was going from cruise down to like 3,000 feet all in one go, you could maybe just work it out by doing 36 times 3 plus 10. It's kind of like a rule of thumb. So what, 36 times 3 would be 108 plus 10, 118. At around 2,000 feet per minute. Yeah, I know, it's great that, isn't it, with the 737. It does a lot, doesn't it? And this aircraft will too when they implement the feature, but although in the 737 you do have to do your trim, so whereas this auto trims. Although if you leave it in autopilot, right to the point where you're on final approach, your approach speed is set, your descent rate is in place, so you're on the way down. The autopilot will auto trim it to that point, and obviously when you disconnect, as long as you don't go up or down in the speed, or, you know, start having a hard time, probably shouldn't need to touch the trim all the way down. Not by much, anyway. Yeah, we need to do more in the 737, really. I've spent enough on it. I've barely flown it. There's always that part of me that thinks, like, I'm about to go live. Shall I do it in the 737 or the A320? I'm like, yeah, let's do it in the A320, because I know what I'm doing there. Maybe we'll say on Monday, we'll do a 737 stream. One way or another. It could go very badly, like, I'm not just saying that, like, it genuinely could go very badly. There's only one way to learn. Yeah, that'd be great when the A380 arrives. That'll be my default long-haul aircraft for sure. Like London to LA, London to Heathrow, London to Dubai, Sydney to Singapore, all the long-haul routes. Yeah, it'll be free. It will be free. Yeah, that's the power of open source software. Although you're not in a position to complain if it takes ages, obviously, because it's free. So swings and roundabouts, but so we've got a turn coming up, left turn, and that will take us across the channel, across to England. Where it won't be that long and we'll start descending. Got about another 150 miles to top a descent. Yeah, you're not wrong, like, it's a lot of work. Like, speaking as someone that's got a background in software development, it's not nothing. It really isn't. Like, they've done so much work, it's incredible. I think people often get a sense that with software, then that you're, just do this, 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 and this, and then it's done. It's like, have you any idea how much work that is? I was always dealing with management. Man, can we not just do blah 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 blah? It's like, yeah, we could, but that'll take like 4 months. Well, it needs to be done by next week. Wow. You know what? I don't actually know. I don't know if... I mean, they must have like a PayPal or a donation thing, you would think. I think hundreds, like individual contributors. Like, I mean, you could pull the source code for it, I imagine. You know, they probably host it on something like GitHub or something. So that's where, if you're making a software project in a collaborative manner, the most common thing to use is a system called Git, which is a funny name, I know, but so that everyone can work on the same thing and then contribute their changes, and then somebody decides what to merge into the main project. And if 2 people have worked on the same thing, then you can decide which part of one file to take from one person's changes and from another. It's very cool, very cool. Oh, that's funny. I've been doing pretty well with the scam calls lately. I haven't had any. I don't know whether they've just lost all hope for me or not by now, but... Right, not that you'd know it, but we're about to cross the channel, I think. I don't think we can actually see... Yeah, it's just blankets of cloud, isn't it? There's a nice big thick band of rain right across where we're going to go, so this could be an interesting approach. Oh man, I just finished my coffee. Wasn't expecting it to be empty. Do you ever watch that guy on YouTube that like scams the scammers? I guess you must do, given what you just said. "38 minutes, it says. Ah, yeah, I suppose it's night time. But yeah, it must be night time where you are. Almost 11 AM here. The day's just getting started. Right. I kind of want to get descended just so we can get beneath this cloud and we can maybe see some stuff. So we must be over England by now. Not that you can tell, but... About 90 miles away now from top of descent. Then we'll start dropping down into Newcastle. So we're going to go to 16,000 feet first of all, and we must be at 16,000 feet at that waypoint. Quite often they'll say you can be above 16,000 or below 16,000, or maybe they'll give you a range, you know, between 15 and 20. So this one is absolutely 16,000. Then the next waypoint beyond that is exactly 12,000, then 9,000. Then we've got a clear run to get down to 2,000 by the time we need to be at the start of our final approach. Hey, Watermelon! Good to see you. Yeah, very fluffy clouds. We're doing live weather today, so there's a big old thick band of rain moving across us today here in the UK. Kind of doing live weather more out of curiosity than anything else, because we had a bit of a weird one on Monday where the wind just like literally changed direction on us within 30 seconds. It went from like a 30 knot crosswind hitting the left of the aircraft to a hardly anything tailwind. It's very weird. Face reveal at 10k. What's that, like pounds worth of donations, yeah? I've got another channel where my face is the profile picture, so you're welcome to go and find it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Although it is a slightly old picture. Rocking the upside down head look at the moment. Beard and a shaved head. Second channel's name. I'll post you a link to it if you like. Hold the line. You thought it was just some random image. No, it's me. Yes, it is. Face reveal. Face reveal at nearly 2k. Can't be bad, can it? I was considering getting a camera for the second channel. You know, to be clear, the lack of a camera on this channel is more of a like an artistic thing than a I don't want to show my face. Like, I've streamed on Twitch before, and that with the camera on. There's not really an issue in that sense. It's just that for flight sim, I don't know. I feel like the camera almost takes something away from the experience, whereas if you're playing something like a first-person shooter and there's a lot of reaction taking place and stuff happening, I feel like the camera can maybe add something. Although some of the streamers I watch, like Westy, Jack Frags, they're huge streamers. They don't use a camera. just the game. You know, one of my ideas for this channel before I actually made it was to put my dog, sit him down in front of a green screen and just like put the dog in like the bottom right hand corner and make out the dogs flying the plane. Part of me regrets not doing it, but call the channel like Captain Dog or something. And if anyone complains at like a bad landing, it's like I can just comment and be like, I'm a dog. Like, come on, cut me some slack. Yeah, possibly missed a trick with that. I'd need a decent phone for that, Watermelon. I'm still rocking an iPhone 10. "5 years old. You know, people gave me a hard time when I bought that phone. You're spending £1,000 on a phone. Like, what is wrong with you? It's like, yeah, but I'll keep it for 5 years, and then it's like £200 a year, which is significantly less than you're spending at your £65 a month contract. But of course, people don't see the long game. They just see the monthly number and forget about the rest. To be fair, like, it doesn't play games very well. Like, it plays like old school games. I was playing Tiny Wings the other day. I love that game. So it plays stuff like that. But honestly, you wouldn't know it's a 5-year-old phone. I've put a new battery in it, and it's like, it's awesome. It's just as good as the day I bought it. But then I don't really demand a lot from my phone. I know some people like go crazy about their phone. Got to have the best camera, got to have the newest screen, got to have the newest this, that, the other. It's like, well, I only really watch YouTube on my phone, so doesn't really matter what phone I buy, YouTube's going to still be YouTube. And the camera's good enough. I think the camera on it far exceeds my ability as a photographer anyway, so. It looks like the clouds are breaking. Okay, we are 30 miles away from our top of descent. And we'll start making our way on down. Kind of feel a little bit bored by phones at the moment. Like, to be clear, I used to be so into phones. Like, I was the phone guy. Like, if anyone wanted a new phone, they would come and ask me what to get, and I was that guy. And I had opinions on everything. Like, I was writing iPhone apps. Like, I was so deep into it. Whereas now, I feel like I just could not care less. It's almost like the fun's been had. It used to be every year, like, there'd be some awesome new thing that would come out that we were all kind of waiting for, like dual lens cameras or OLED screens, facial recognition. Oh, you're watching from Sunderland. Nice. Dismal Sunderland. I'm sure it's not that bad, is it? Will I rock the wings as I go over? Now, forgive my terrible geography. Sunderland's south. That's to the south of Newcastle, right? On the coast, right, gotcha. Yeah, it's strange. So if we look at what's out the window, it actually looks quite pleasant. But if you look on the map, there's an awful lot of rain, and as you're saying, in the real world, it's raining too. So yeah, I'm not entirely convinced by the live weather on this. Really not convinced. Seems to chop and change on you all of a sudden. It's like it realises, like, oh wait, no, it's supposed to be this weather, and then the whole thing changes and the plane rocks around as the new weather conditions take effect. We'll see. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to come up over Yorkshire, then as we get near to Newcastle, yeah, basically make a right turn out to the coast, then swoop back round to the left. What's my dream? In what sense? As in my dream for life, or what? Right, it is almost that time. We need to get down to 16,000 feet. And we'll do it at a very gentle 1,200 feet per minute. Buy ourselves lots and lots of time. So we should start to see the engines start to roll back gradually. There they go. 79, 78. And this one here is coming down, which should settle at 1-2. Oh, right, I see. Is my dream to become a pilot or to just play flight sim? Oh, yeah, I've got no ambition to become an actual pilot. I don't think I'd like it. I think I'd actually get quite grumpy if I had to be a pilot. It strikes me as one of those things that seems very, very glamorous, and then it turns out it's kind of not as glamorous as you thought. Do you have to pay for the liveries in the game? No, you don't. If you go to flightsim.to, so like flightsim.2, there's a ton of liveries that you can download for free. Or you can make your own. I cannot begin to tell you how long that took. So a lot of patience required if you want to make your own. And actually this kind of looks a bit pants, actually. The more I look at it, the more I don't like it. I'm going to have to do another one. I need something on the tail. Maybe a bit more stuff out here. How's that? We'll leave it like that for a minute. yeah, I think my dream would be to keep doing what I'm doing now, really, but maybe on a more full-time, permanent basis. But obviously becoming a full-time content creator is not for the faint of heart. It's very difficult, even if you're awesome at it. Very, very difficult. There's going to be a butter landing or a right. What do you mean, like Malaga? Malaga was perfect. Right, I need to enter my destination data. No, I'll give you that. Malaga was not my finest hour, was it? Right, destination data. So Newcastle is 981. And what's the temperature on the ground? 6 and 180 and 9. And 80 degrees, 9 knots, 200 on the radio, and we're done. Oh yeah, that's what it was. It's the FPS. Thank you, Watermelon. Thank you for coming to my aid with an excuse. Oh yeah, he wasn't happy about it. Rarely happy about my landings. I got the Airbus Thrustmaster flight stick a few months ago, and it's good fun. Takes a whole new. Yeah, so that's I think we've got the same one. Got the Airbus Thrustmaster stick and the throttles and a set of Logitech pedals for the rudders. But yeah, I mean, you can just get the stick really, and that is everything you need. The throttles are a nice touch, but honestly, besides going from idle to toga for takeoff and then quickly putting them back into the climb gate, I haven't touched them since we left Nice. So it does make you wonder how much value there is there really. And they'll stay in climb until we're about 50 feet off the ground, and then I'll just go from the climb gate back to idle and then pull into reverse. So given what they cost relative to what the stick costs, you have to wonder if it's worth it. Your Logitech pedals, as in like rudder pedals, or have you got like racing pedals? Racing pedals, yeah. So I think I've seen people do that. Have you got the one like the one where there's the clutch, the brake, the accelerator? I've got the same ones. If you have, ah yeah, Stream Beats is great music. Such a good idea as well for him to have done that. Such a great business idea. I'm sure he did a YouTube video where he says he makes like $160,000 a month from it. Yeah, G920, cool. So yeah, I thought I saw a video. Someone said like you can use the clutch as like the turn left pedal, use the accelerator as the turn right pedal, and then the brake just to brake. But obviously you can't do differential braking. You just put all the brakes on at once. 160 a month, yeah. Well, if you think about it, all the music is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, like all the streaming services. So if you're a streamer, and you're streaming for 10 hours, and you're playing that music in the background for the whole 10 hours, that's... Yeah, the music's free. The music's free to use, but then Spotify and Apple Music and all the others pay him every time someone listens. In the same way that if, I don't know, Metallica or Adele or Jay-Z put out an album, people stream it on Spotify, they get paid, right? Like a fraction of a penny per listen. It's the same deal for Stream Beats. So if you've got 100,000 streamers streaming 10 hours a day, that's a lot of fractions of a penny. You should check him out. He's got a YouTube channel called... It was called Alpha Gaming, but he renamed it to Senpai Gaming. He's very, very transparent about all of his business stuff. So if you're into that, it's a very, very cool channel to watch. Peppa Pig, yeah. Can relate. I swear I go to bed with that tune in my head sometimes. It's like, get it out. An FBI agent, yeah. You got me. You figured it out. I'm trying to work out, that looks like a motorway beneath us. I'm trying to work out which one that is. Got a puppy. Oh, not Danny Dog or whatever it's called. How much time till arrival? If you look at the stats at the top of the screen where it says ETE, that stands for estimated time en route. It says 13 minutes, but it will take longer than that. Oh, Papa. Fair enough. There's a dog on there called Danny Dog, though, right? Ah, the A1, of course. Thank you. You can tell I don't get up north much, can't you? Right, so we've still got 50 miles to go until our waypoint. Where we need to be at 16,000. We're already at 23, so I think we should be fine. Danny DeVito. Maybe I'll name one of the fish Danny DeVito in the fish tank. That way I don't need to take on responsibility for another new pet. So what's that we're looking at there, that motorway? That looks like... That's heading to the west, isn't it? Towards like Liverpool, Manchester way, I would think, based on where we are. God, I don't know. Up 62, yeah, maybe. Actually, no, we're actually heading to the west. So that would have been us looking south then. You can see, we've got a big right turn coming up in a minute. Maybe you should submit these ideas to Microsoft. Where am I flying over roughly? I'm just trying to work that out, actually. Looks like we're just to the west of Preston. In between Preston and Leeds. But we're just making a big turn now, so we should have Leeds out the window once this cloud gets out of the way, if the cloud gets out of the way. Okay, M6, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, so we've just got down to 16,000 feet. I know it doesn't say that in the stats at the top of the screen. That's because the altimeter is different. I think what we'll do we'll take the opportunity to get our speed under control a little bit. We've got 25 miles. Until we can drop down to beyond 16,000. So we're going to go 16 to 12, 12 to 9. Then from there we can go down to like, I think it's 2,000 or 3,000 feet, which represents the start of the final approach glide path. Right, so while we slow ourselves down, I'm going to quickly disappear for 2 minutes and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. What a nice view. Okay, let's get 12,000 loaded in. So you can see here, look, let me zoom you in. Flight level 160, flight level 120. Then we've got our decel point. Now if you look, I've only got like 8 miles to do that in. 4,000 feet in 8 miles is not a lot. So I'm going to do quite an aggressive descent. Probably with the help of some speed brakes. At least we've slowed ourselves down somewhat as well. Get our speed down to 220. So this is where our autopilot disconnects. I could have told the plane to sort of join the dots here, but quite often it messes it up considerably. So we'll keep going up towards Newcastle, make a right, and then bring ourselves out and around, back in. Let's just check what local pressure on the ground is. 981. What's the pressure again? Is it 981? Cool, so autopilot should... Cheers, Watermelon. Good to see you again. Look after yourself. There we go. So that's autopilot disconnected those beeps. And you can see now we've just got an indefinite straight line ahead of us. So what we'll do, come up to around about here, make a right, out to the sea, back in. Gradually get ourselves down to 3,000 feet. No mad panic. No sign of Sunderland yet, is there? Don't know what that is down there. Let me know. Okay, appreciate it. Right, given that I think we all know we're basically at Newcastle, I'm going to turn the map off. Dead ahead. Control Shift and F1 can reduce game stuttering. Maybe I'll try that when I'm not live. Okay, I think it's probably about time we entered our approach phase. Activate, confirm. Now if we set our speed to managed, it's going to want to slow us right down. Yeah, I figured. Just an inkling, you know. It's a shame we can't see much. Oh, there it is. It's a bit cloudy, isn't it? Yeah, that would have been quite a good moment on stream, wouldn't it? So is Sunderland going to be out that way? Is that Sunderland? Right, I need to pay attention.
2,500.
Oops. Go. Okay, we're at 2,000 feet. Now, if we use direct to CI25, there we go. Does streaming affect the performance that much? No, not really. I mean, I tend to limit my FPS to like 30 anyway. Although I'm not at the moment, I'm at 60 at the moment, but like my GPU could probably do way more. I just limit it because, frankly, you don't need it. What is that autopilot doing? It's making a bit of a meal of this, I fancy. See what we'll do. Maybe we'll let it do it. But no, I use, because I've got an Nvidia GPU, most modern Nvidia GPUs come with what's called an NVENC encoder. NVENC stands for Nvidia Encode. So for encoding the stream and getting it sent to YouTube, there's a little tiny chip on the GPU that handles that. Or I say a little tiny chip, a part of the chip on the GPU that handles that. As opposed to me having my regular CPU do it. So it's a specialised piece of hardware that just encodes, which it's very good at. So, alright, landing system. Well, the good news is we're approaching it from the underneath, which is always a good sign. But this bit here's Newcastle, right? Must be. Yeah, you got to watch the autopilot. I think, especially in this in this version of the plane, it sometimes makes some odd decisions that perhaps the real aircraft wouldn't make, but 'tis what it is. So we should do a bank in a moment and come in on final. Very hazy, isn't it? Visibility is very bad. Go. Starting to worry it wasn't going to do that then. Not every stream, no. The last couple I have. I say I'm doing it mostly out of curiosity at the moment. Just because I'm never quite sure I trust it. Seems to do strange things. Right, given how poor visibility is, I'm going to activate the approach mode. So any second now. There you go, it's caught the glide slope, it's caught the localizer. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me the weather's not accurate. But also, what wouldn't surprise me is if, in a couple of moments, the real weather snaps in and completely takes us by surprise. That would not surprise me. That's what happened coming into Bristol the other day. 90-degree crosswind, and all of a sudden it dies off, and then you get this massive tailwind. It's like, what? Where did that come from?
1,000.
I don't know, I like to do the live weather because it's kind of interesting, but at the same time I do wonder whether I'm better off just like setting scattered clouds and just enjoy the view. Still no visibility on that runway, is there? It's just coming into view now. Right. My aircraft. There we go. See, now we've got a crosswind. Out of nowhere. That was a tailwind a moment ago.
500.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
It's not. Be quiet.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Why is it saying that?
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Yeah, see, look at that. Look, we've now got a 15 knot
terrain.
crosswind.
Too low, terrain.
How do we turn that thing off?
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
200.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
100.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
30. 20. 10. 5.
Oh no! I didn't put my landing gear down. Oh well. Nice little belly landing at Newcastle for you all. I knew there was something I'd forgotten. Well, at least we know we can do a belly landing now, at least. Oh, that's funny. That'll be why it's saying too low terrain. Of course it was. Oh, that's kind of fun though. I'm kind of glad we did a belly landing. I've often wondered how one would go. It was actually quite smooth, all things considered. Ah, that is funny. What a muppet. How did I forget the landing gear? Yeah, everyone get off to the right. That's right. We'll wait for the fire trucks to come out, shall we? Oh, that was funny. Well, you saw it here first. That was my first... after all these streams, that's the first time I've ever forgot to put the wheels down. I've always been curious what a belly landing would be like, though, so I'm kind of glad we did it. How does it sit on the ground? Yeah, I'm fairly certain that's not supposed to be like that. Still, the live weather did its thing on the way down again, didn't it? That was... Yeah, please come again. I promise it's not always that bad. How did I forget the landing gear? What a muppet. Oh, damn. I do feel a bit silly now, but... There was a couple of streams ago I did wonder like what would happen if I didn't do landing gear. Would it actually... Would the sim actually manage it? I'm kind of disappointed that it didn't, in a way. I kind of hoped that it would sit us on the runway, much like it would do in real life, but instead it's just sunk us straight in. Very weird. Well, I think on that bombshell, it's time to end the stream. Thank you all for coming along. Next time, I promise I'll put the landing gear down. Promise, promise, promise. As for the next stream... Oh, 100% it's going on YouTube Shorts. For sure. As for the next stream, I don't honestly know where the next stream will be. Or when it'll be. It'll be probably tomorrow at midday-ish. But it'll be kind of like pre-recorded, so I won't be around to chat, as it were. I'm going to do Detroit to Vegas, where I did remember to put the landing gear down. So, you can look forward to that one. Oh, I can't believe I forgot the landing gear. What a muppet. Anyway, besides that last little bit of the landing, that stream was very good fun. Thank you all for being here. If you decide to give me another chance, I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.